That's what is what is trend that we yeah, I didn't tell you that.
Oh, okay,
no.
hang on. Can you give me 5 minutes?
Yeah,
Because if you've got that much animation, there must be something good coming. All right, I just have to turn on my computer, take something off the SD card, and then I almost bought another SD card yesterday because I thought I don't. But then the 16 gigabyte. The first day we went to Countdown in Hornby. We went all the way up.
Hornby,
Where did my other SD card go?
That's what I said. That there.
Ah, thank you.
Peter, what exactly do you call the sediment that was coming out of the ground? What's the official word for that stuff?
Well, people call it liquefaction. That's not the official word. Other people, I think if you want to be more technically correct, people call it silt. Although I think of silt as being organic, and it's not silt. It's a very fine sand.
Very fine sand.
Fine gray sand.
And what?
Yeah, it's gray sand. That's true. Yeah.
What you said that there was a G-force or something?
Yeah. So the like the recent earthquake in Japan, which was 9.0 on the Richter scale. Apparently, the PGA, the peak ground acceleration in Japan, was about 0.35 G. So basically a third of the force of gravity. The peak ground acceleration measured in Christchurch during the earthquake was 2.2 times.
But what does it mean? It's like how strong it moves
and how fast it's accelerating. So there's three things you can measure: the Richter scale, how much energy is released, or also known as four things. The Richter scale, which is how much energy is released. Then there's I think it's the Mercantile intensity scale, which is how much damage is caused.
Okay.
Then there's peak ground acceleration, so how quickly the ground is accelerating. So in Christchurch, it accelerated at its rate of, maximum was 2.2 times G. And the other one is peak velocity. And I haven't seen any readings of peak velocity, but apparently, depending on how strong the earthquake is, sometimes for, I think, weaker earthquakes, it's one thing, and stronger earthquakes it's another, between the correlation between velocity or acceleration. So like, maybe weak earthquakes are correlated with how strong the velocity is, and strong earthquakes are correlated with how strong the acceleration is, or maybe it's vice versa.
Yeah.
In terms of the damage, I should say. When I say weak and strong, I mean how much damage is associated, not with Richter scale, but with either velocity or acceleration.
Okay.
You're also listening to Peter Moore, who owns this house that we're in right now. He's pretty lucky for his rental units to be standing.
I'm lucky for them to be standing, but this house had 7 bedrooms, and out of those 7, 5 of them were empty within a week of the earthquake. And altogether I have 16 bedrooms across 3 houses. A week after the earthquake, I think I only had 3 tenants left. A week and a half, out of 16.
So a lot of people left quickly.
Oh my god, I have no idea.
This house.
That's why I want to say, like, we arrived in Dunedin, and with Chris and Fiona, they gave us a lift to Dunedin, and when we arrived maybe about 7 in the evening, and we made maybe 5 motel, guest house, backpackers. They say no vacancy.
I said that to you before you left, didn't I?
Yeah, you told us that. I knew. That's why we think about this after. I said, oh, Peter told us we should have called him before.
I even left the keys out for you in case you had to
Yeah, that's true. and then we finally found one small motel, got one available room. I don't remember how, actually, because everywhere was really fully booked. And then, that's weird. All the people.
How long did it take you to get out of the city?
Oh, ages. Yeah, I forget these parts. We left with Chris and Fiona. I didn't know. I was like, what I was doing. I was talking with Aurelien, thinking about some stuff. I was texting with all the people I knew in Christchurch. This were actually I had my boss on my phone. I had my manager. Letting him know that I was gonna leave. So he said, did you tell the boss of the restaurant? He said, yeah, I had him on the phone, and everybody were really understanding. They say, we don't blame you for leaving anyway. So even my boss, the owner of the Flying Burritos Brothers restaurant, left the city.
Oh, he even got out.
Yeah,
Boss
he,
left the
he
city.
left the city. He said, I haven't been. He said, I've been to the restaurant and I saw no really bad damage. I mean, I haven't seen any cracks in the walls. The table seems alright. It's just on the bar. The bars fell down on the bars, on the glasses. So it's like messy on the bar, but the rest seems okay. And even we had this really big tequila bottle, which worth like, I don't know, a few grams, because they always say that they have only 2 or 3 places in New Zealand who got this really old, nice tequila, and maybe 5 grams tequila. So it's really,
It's tequila
really
worth $5,000.
yeah. It's really. They always, it's like in the wood box with glasses on the wall, and I say, okay, the was it Esperado tequila is nice, doesn't have anything. So, oh yeah, he told me I haven't been to the restaurant. I'm just leaving the city for a while. They have 2 children, like baby children, they just want to leave. So say, yeah, I don't blame you for leaving. I'm leaving for a city for a while.
Peter, did you try to leave?
No.
Hey,
You stayed.
Yeah, you stayed. Lots of people left. I had from the factory, salmon factory, I had as well our manager, because it's like this couple who owns the company, because we were working in the salmon factory, in the salmon industry, which is in Twizel, and they make another part for deboning salmons in the independent fishery factory. So they were like renting this local for us, but the most of the process we're doing in Twizel. So we had the manager here in Christchurch, which is a young, he's as old as us, he's a student. So we just text and say we live in Christchurch, say okay, if I can help you. Then I text Fimi, which is the wife. They are a couple, the owner of the company, and say okay, once again, I don't blame you for leaving, and if I can do anything for you, I can give you a lift to. I'm going to Twizel, from Twizel to Christchurch, then I'm going back, so if I can give you a lift, and
wow.
really nice. Then we saw them in Twizel, we've been through Twizel, and we came to see them. And yeah, so that's what I was talking before, like on the way we get out of Christchurch, I was just texting to everybody saying I'm leaving Christchurch. Even one French friend who just started working with us in the restaurant said, how are you? I knew you were leaving in the city. Say, okay, my house is good, I'm not hurt, I'm not injured, I'm leaving the city as well anyway. And yeah, so I was just texting to all these people, and we took, maybe it takes 1 hour to get out of the city, just to get from here to the suburbs, I would say.
Even after 3 days.
Yeah, even after 3 days.
Break.
Oh, this is after 3 days you were trying to get out.
Yeah, this is
and
3
you
days.
still couldn't.
And we still have lots of traffic jam everywhere, and there was like a long queue, and we were really slow, and lots of traffics and ways
to get from here to where exactly?
We went, I don't know, because Chris were working. I haven't been watching the road, and I wouldn't be able to tell you which road we've been through, because
when you say the
it
suburbs,
was
you
worse,
mean
much more
outside the
worse.
city?
Yeah,
You
1
mean-
hour to get outside of the city.
Oh, okay, right, to get to the city limits.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay.
Yeah, because as I remember, we were still like in the Christchurch suburbs about 1 hour after, because I spent lots of time texting everybody and explaining what we were doing with Mary Jane and leaving. And yeah, and after, then Chris told us like, yeah, okay, we left Christchurch. It's gonna take about 3 hours or 4 to get to Dunedin.
Yeah.
And then we arrived in Dunedin in the evening. And then in the evening there's fully booked everywhere. And finally we managed to find a place. We stayed for a night, and then Fiona and because I thought Fiona and Chris were staying with us, or at least trying to find a place to sleep, they say, okay, maybe we can just try to sleep on the floor and share this room. They say, no, we're going to Queenstown and we don't want to stay too much time. We don't want to stay in Dunedin, so they just went straight to Queenstown.
Why did they not want to stay in Dunedin?
I don't know exactly, because they wanted to find a job in...
Come in.
They wanted to find a job in Queenstown.
Right.
Let's say less than 10 seconds, because
Okay.
that's why when we talk to each other with other people, we say that.
You reckon it was probably 8 seconds?
But it could be longer, but I think it takes me about less than 10 seconds to get out of the buildings.
Yeah.
And then I might stopped, and then it shake again pretty strongly because we were on the ground and we saw the ground shaking, and I mean on the field, on the herbs, and even after we were like staying here on the garden, and just you knew like once every half an hour it was an aftershock. So we just were like eating outside and say with Jan, say go lay down on the garden to feel to see what does it feel when you are outside on the floor, like on the ground, which is like really naturally stuff, and see what does it do to just shake it on the ground, which is like, because if you are inside this place, the house, or you see a big truck coming, or like this big tools, jackhammer, you know how does it feel to make it like shaking. But if you are on the ground, on the grass, and just lying on the floor like this, watching the sky, and it's moving, and it's really impressive. It's like, what's going on? It's like, well, it's not it doesn't seem natural, but it's nothing more natural than that.
That's scary.
And yeah, then after the 3 days after the earthquake, we left Christchurch, and it takes about 1 hour to left just to reach the suburbs of Christchurch. There was so much traffic jam, and still the road was really badly damaged. So it's nothing compared to now. Even now, it's like they made like traffic lights are back, and they managed to close this road, so they make 2 lines for the cars to like go around and kind of normally. But even 3 days after, it was still it was pretty hard to go around the city and leave, and everyone was leaving the city. And then we left at the beginning of the afternoon, and then we arrived in the evening in Dunedin. And as Peter told us, like everything was fully booked, couldn't book any room, and there were like signs, no vacancy everywhere, no vacancy. There was no way to find a room. Then finally, after looking for, I would say, half an hour for every motel we were going, that we find a room. I came out in the late evening, about 9 or 10 p.m. and to grab something to eat, and I saw 2 people looking for something on the map, and then I asked them what was going on, if they need some help, and then they just told me, oh yeah, we're looking for a church. So our church, and say, yeah, we are coming from Christchurch, and we're looking for a church to pray for the people still in Christchurch. So then I say, I cannot help you anyway. I'm not from Dunedin, and I was in Christchurch as well. And then even the owner of the motel told us they're everywhere. Dunedin is fully booked because all the people came from Christchurch. That was just incredible how to see this. All the city has been like busy, and just because of the people from Christchurch. And even this guy from the hostel said I had like 10 people sleeping in the living room because the day after we changed from the motel to the hostel to the backpacker, and in this backpacker it say again, no, we still have no room left. The last night we had like 10 people sleeping in the living room because all the rooms were fully booked, and these people have nowhere else to go, so he just told them just sleep on the couch and on the floors everywhere they can. So that was just crazy.
So it seems like even the outskirts towns, the people were still trying to help, saying, yeah, you can stay here, but all I have is a floor.
Even outside, and during our trip in New Zealand, you wouldn't see any city which has at least a small donation box for Christchurch city. Everywhere you could see donation for Christchurch, donation, and even sometimes on this box I could see pictures that I've never seen before. Like I still remember this small picture of it's not like tramway, railway, but it's real train, railway, which is supposed to be straight, and in some parts it's just going like small wave. Like someone actually like a toy. Someone would with a finger push the railway for this part, just making on the side like a S. And it was incredible to see this picture.
I seen that out in the park where they have the runners, and they actually, the land would push the runners together and either bend it up or bend it into that S. But on the other side of that bicycle path where the guide runner was straight.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand. It's like, you know, okay, I can understand how it would push together, but you would think both sides. It was amazing to see how the land had shifted within itself.
Yeah.
It blew my. It's still blowing my mind how these things can happen. Oh.
Aurelien, do you have any other impressions of how Kiwis were dealing with the earthquake? Either, you know, in Christchurch, your neighbors or the emergency response team, or as you said, outside of Christchurch?
Well, in Christchurch, everyone have been. It's like lots of solidarity, because everyone was in the same bad situation without electricity or anything. And then when we get all around the South Island, all the donation box that shows us that there was like solidarity even outside of Christchurch. And even when we said we are from, we were in Christchurch when the earthquake happened, people start to ask us if we were right, and no people were injured that we knew, and then it's like just on the first week after the earthquake, and that because we were still close to Christchurch, close enough that for people to see that everyone came as a refugee to Dunedin or all the city around, but then came back as a tourist, normal tourist, that we didn't talk too much about Christchurch anymore, and then the Japan earthquake happened, so makes remember everyone about the earthquake, and we saw good solidarity when we learned that New Zealand team has been sent to Japan to help them, and then what Japanese sent some helping troops to New Zealand, to Christchurch, to help them.
Wow. So Japan sent people over here
to help
and then when they went through theirs, so okay,
then the Kiwis send a few people there to help the people in Tokyo, which is good, really.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. That's a good thing.
And especially after the warning of a tsunami in New Zealand, after the earthquake in Japan, our parents were worried about us, that they heard that in Europe there were tsunami alert on Australia and New Zealand and Fiji, Tonga, some even in Chile as well. And they just called us, don't stay on the coast. But then when we talked to Kiwis, they said there was just a warning for the North Island, and there is nothing to fear on the South Island. I mean, not on the coast where we were.
Yeah.
Not on the East Coast.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you heard about the Japanese tsunami and earthquake? Were you able to see or hear the news?
Well, we were traveling, so we didn't have access to internet or TV. We just watched the news, and maybe using the McDonald's Wi-Fi maybe 3 or 4 days after the earthquake, and then that's how we saw that it was really, really, really bad. The first things we knew that we've been waking up during the night by Mary Jane's mother calling us and like pretty worried about us, telling not to stay on the coast, that they had a really, really bad earthquake in Japan. That's how we know that. But then we didn't know much more about this, and we learned more on the news, on the internet. And that was really pretty scary what we saw. Because we've been through that, you can imagine what is it when it's like in the super giant city and with an earthquake that strong.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Oh yeah. Even if it's the Japan is kind of ready with the earthquake, they have all of these buildings for the anti-seismic buildings, but that's so strong. I don't think any building is can be resist to such a strong earthquake.
Yeah, something that size.
Yeah.
Which we guess we've seen. Okay.